My girlfriend said, "I told everyone at work you're my friend. Introducing you as a boyfriend is embarrassing." I said, "I understand." Then I showed up at her company Christmas party with a date and introduced myself as her friend to her boss. When her coworkers started connecting the dots. Original post. I, 29 male, work in IT project management for a mid-sized company. Decent salary, not rich, not struggling. I drive a 2019 Civic, own exactly 3 pairs of dress shoes, and my idea of a fun Saturday is making Qley from scratch and watching college football. I'm not a model. I'm not ugly. I'm just a regular dude. Average height, keep myself in decent shape, could probably stand to get a better haircut. I say all this because it becomes relevant. My now ex-girlfriend works at one of those sleek marketing agencies where everyone looks like they walked out of a brand campaign. I'm talking about the kind of office where people wear $400 sneakers casually and say things like, "Let's circle back on the creative brief," with a straight face. She's an account manager there. Good at her job. Ambitious. The kind of person who always has a 5-year plan and a vision board. We dated for 3 years. Met at a friend's barbecue. Hit it off. Became official pretty quick. For most of those 3 years, things were solid. We had our stuff. She thought I was too low-key. I thought she cared too much about appearances, but nothing catastrophic. Normal relationship friction. Except for one thing that always nagged at me. She never posted me. 3 years, not a single photo of us on her Instagram. And listen, I'm not a social media guy. I post maybe 4 times a year. But she was on there constantly. Stories, reels, grid posts. Photos with coworkers, her friends, her sister, random brunch plates. But never me. When I brought it up about a year in, she said she liked keeping her relationship private. Okay, I respected that. Then about 8 months ago, her company had a spring networking event. Partners were invited. She told me not to come, said it was more of a work thing, and she didn't want to mix worlds. I was annoyed but let it slide. Then her best friend from work posted stories from the event, and 3 other people had brought their partners. I saw it in real time, sitting on my couch. When I brought that up, she got defensive, said those people don't care about professionalism the way I do. I let go. Shouldn't have, but I did. Then came October. We were at her apartment, getting ready to go meet some of her college friends for dinner. Group of about 6 people, most of whom I'd met before. While she was doing her makeup, she said, casually like she was telling me the weather, "Oh, by the way, when we get there, if anyone asks, you're my friend." I stopped tying my shoe. "I'm your what?" "My friend. I've told people at work that I'm single, and a couple of my college friends know people in my firm, and I don't want it getting back." I sat there with one shoe tied and one shoe untied, looking at her like she'd grown a second head. "You've told people at work you're single?" She sighed like I was being exhausting. "It's not a big deal. In my industry, being a young single woman is an advantage. People take you more seriously. They invite you to things. It's networking. So, I'm bad for your brand. Don't be dramatic. I'm not saying you're embarrassing. I'm saying having a boyfriend is embarrassing. It makes me seem settled, less hungry." I said, "I understand." She looked relieved, like I'd just agreed to take the trash out. She went back to her mascara and said, "Thanks, babe. I knew you'd get it." I didn't get it. I understood the words. I understood that my girlfriend of 3 years had been hiding my existence from her entire professional life and a chunk of her social life, because my presence in her narrative made her seem less hungry. I understood perfectly, and something in me shifted that night. Quietly, permanently. I went to the dinner. I played the friend. I watched her laugh and flirt with the group's energy, and I smiled and made small talk and drove her home after. She kissed me goodnight and said, "You're the best." I said, "Yeah." And I went home and sat with it. I didn't blow up. I didn't confront her. I just started thinking. Because here's the thing. I'm not the type to scream and storm out. I process things slow, and when I'm done processing, I'm done. Like a computer completing a very long download. 2 weeks later, she mentioned that her company Christmas party was coming up in December. Big deal for her firm. Open bar, catered, at some fancy venue downtown. And for the first time ever, she said, "You should come this year." I almost laughed. I thought mixing worlds was unprofessional. She said the party was different. It's more relaxed. Plus my boss keeps asking if I'm bringing someone, and it's getting weird. but I thought being single was your brand advantage. She rolled her eyes. You're not going to let that go, are you? Fine. Come to the party. But just don't make it a big thing. We'll figure out the vibe when we get there. The vibe. She wanted to figure out the vibe of acknowledging my existence. I said, I'll be there. And then I started planning. I have a friend from college, a woman I've been buddies with for years. She's in pharmaceutical sales, sharp dresser, very charismatic. We're genuinely just friends. Always have been. She actually helped me pick out the necklace I got my ex for our second anniversary. Completely platonic. I called her and explained the situation. Everything. The friend, label, the hidden relationship, the single branding, all of it. She was quiet for about 10 seconds, then said, So what do you need from me? I need a date to a Christmas party. Absolutely. What should I wear? The party was December 14th. My girlfriend had bought a new dress. She was excited. She'd been talking about it for weeks. Who would be there, what the venue looked like, how this was her year to really make an impression on the senior team. She told me to wear my navy suit. I wore my navy suit. Here's where it gets fun. I told my girlfriend I'd meet her at the party because I had to run an errand first. She didn't question it. I picked up my friend, and we drove there together. When we walked in, my girlfriend was already at the bar talking to a group of coworkers. She saw me, smiled, and saw my friend next to me. The smile didn't drop. It just froze, like someone hit pause on her face. I walked up to her group with my friend on my arm. My girlfriend said, in a very controlled voice, Hey, you made it. She looked at my friend. And who's this? Before I could answer, her boss, a tall guy with one of those firm handshakes, turned to me and said, Hey, good to see you. You must be the boyfriend she's been keeping secret. And I said, with the most relaxed smile of my life, Oh no, we're just friends. The air left the room. Well, not the room, but definitely our little circle. My girlfriend's eyes went wide. Her boss laughed nervously, clearly confused. One of her coworkers looked between us with that expression people get when they know they're witnessing something but aren't sure what yet. My friend, absolute professional that she is, extended her hand to the boss and said, Hi, I'm his date tonight. He said this party was supposed to be great. Love the venue. My girlfriend's face went through about 4 emotions in 2 seconds. Confusion, anger, panic, and then this plastered-on smile that didn't reach her eyes. She excused herself to get a drink and grabbed my arm on the way past, pulling me toward the hallway. What are you doing? She hissed. Being your friend. Isn't that what I am? Why did you bring her? She's my date. Friends bring dates to parties. You told me yourself, being single at work events isn't a great look. I was just following your advice. This is not funny. It wasn't funny when you told me to pretend I don't exist either. But I understood then, and I understand now. She stared at me like she was trying to figure out if I was bluffing. I wasn't. I went back to the party. I was charming. My friend was charming. We talked to her coworkers, her boss's wife. I was polite, funny, and completely at ease. And every few minutes, I'd catch my girlfriend across the room watching us with this barely contained panic because the story she'd built at this company, the single, driven, independent career woman, was visibly crumbling. Her coworkers were connecting dots in real time. I heard one of them say to another, Wait, I thought she was single. And the other one said, So did I. But that guy definitely isn't just a friend. He knew her coffee order. It was the coffee order that did it, by the way. A coworker offered to grab drinks and asked my girlfriend what she wanted. Before she could answer, I said from across the table, Oat milk latte with 1 raw sugar, right? Pure muscle memory. 3 years of making someone's coffee in the morning. The coworker looked at me, looked at her, and you could literally see the word friend dissolving in his brain. By the end of the night, it was pretty clear to most of the room that my girlfriend had been lying about her relationship status. Nobody said it outright, because it was a work party and people are polite. But the whisper network was fully activated. I could feel it. We left separately. She didn't say goodbye. My friend and I went to a diner and split a plate of pancakes. She told me I looked like I'd been holding my breath for 3 years and finally exhaled. She was right. My girlfriend didn't text me that night. She texted me the next morning. That was the most humiliating night of my life. We're done, I replied. We were done in October. You just didn't know it yet. Update 1. 6 days later. All right, so a lot of you called exactly what would happen next, and you were right. Let me walk through the aftermath because it's been a ride. The morning after the party, after she texted me, "We're done," and I sent my response, she didn't reply for the rest of the day. Silence. I figured she was processing. Fair enough. I spent that Sunday doing laundry, watching football, and feeling this weird mix of relief and sadness. 3 years is 3 years. Even when the ending is right, it still hurts. I'm not going to pretend it didn't. Monday she called me. I picked up because I'm not about avoiding conversations. I just refuse to be treated like a dirty secret. She was calm at first. Controlled. She said, "I need you to understand what you've done." My boss pulled me into his office this morning. He didn't say it directly, but he made a comment about honesty being important in client-facing roles. He was basically questioning my integrity because everyone at that party now thinks I'm a liar. I said, "You are a liar. You lied about being single for the better part of a year. That's different. That was a strategic career choice. And telling your boss I was just your friend was also strategic. So I played the same game. You should appreciate the strategy." She hung up. Tuesday, things got worse. For her. I wasn't doing anything. I was going to work, eating dinner, living my life. But apparently the Christmas party fallout was reverberating through her office. One of her coworkers, a woman she was friendly with, had apparently been interested in me at a previous networking event. My girlfriend had told this coworker she barely knew me and that I was just a family friend who tagged along sometimes. This woman had been flirting with the idea of asking my girlfriend to set us up. When this coworker realized at the Christmas party that I was the hidden boyfriend, she was mortified and angry because my girlfriend had actively let her believe I was available, which is just a bizarre level of commitment to the lie. I know this because the coworker found me on LinkedIn. She sent me a message that basically said, "Hey, I think we met at your girlfriend's, or I guess ex-girlfriend's, company party. I just want you to know she told me you were single, and I feel really weird about the whole thing. No hard feelings on your end, I hope." I told her no hard feelings at all, and that I didn't know about any of it. She sent a thumbs-up emoji. Honestly felt bad for her. She was collateral damage in a lie I didn't even know had that many layers. Wednesday, the best friend showed up. My ex's ride or die. The one who enables every bad decision and calls it supporting her bestie. She texted me from my ex's phone because I guess my ex told her I might not respond to unknown numbers. Clever. The text said, "This is her best friend. You need to fix this. She's barely eating. She cried at work today. Her reputation at the firm is ruined. You embarrassed her in front of the people who control her career. This was cruel, and you know it." I responded, "She told everyone I didn't exist." I simply agreed with her. I'm not sure how me being the friend she wanted me to be is cruel. Best friend, you brought another woman. That's not being a friend. That's being vindictive. Me, single people bring dates to parties. She wanted me to be single. I acted single. I'm confused about the complaint here. She didn't respond to that. Thursday, my ex called from a different number. I picked up not recognizing it. "I need you to post something," excuse me, on Instagram. Something that makes it clear we were together. That this was a real relationship. People in my job think I'm crazy. They think I made up having a boyfriend and then hired some random guy to show up at the party. "I need you to confirm we were together." Let me just repeat that. She wanted me, after 3 years of being hidden, erased, and relabeled, to now publicly confirm the relationship to save her credibility at work. She wanted me to be visible exactly when it served her. No, please, I'm begging you. Just one post. A throwback photo. Anything. For 3 years, I wanted you to acknowledge me. You wouldn't. Now you need me to acknowledge you. I won't. Feels symmetrical to me. You're enjoying this. I'm really not. But I'm also not going to help you manage a mess you created. She started crying. I told her I was sorry it came to this, and I meant it, but I wasn't going to be her cleanup crew. She called me heartless and hung up. Friday, the mom entered the chat. My ex's mother called me, from her own phone this time, so I knew who it was. I almost didn't pick up, but this woman had been decent to me for 3 years, and I owed her at least a conversation. She started off sweet. "Honey, I know things are rough between you two. She's really struggling. She made a mistake. She made a lot of mistakes. over a long period of time. I know. She gets that from her father. He was always about image too. But she loves you. She loved what I provided. She didn't love what I represented. There's a difference. Long pause. Then the sweetness evaporated. You know what? I was trying to be nice about this, but what you did at that party was disgusting. You publicly humiliated my daughter in front of her colleagues. You brought another woman to rub it in. You're not the man I thought you were. Ma'am, with all respect, your daughter told people I was her friend. I showed up as her friend. Everything that happened was a direct consequence of the world she built. I just stopped pretending to live outside of it. She told me I'd regret losing her and hung up. The mom thing was annoying, but predictable. What I didn't expect was what happened the following week. Update 2, 11 days later. Final update. And this one's going to be a lot because the last 10 days were genuinely wild. First, the professional fallout, which I had nothing to do with and didn't orchestrate, but which I'd be lying if I said I didn't find karmic. My ex's office is, as I mentioned, a marketing agency. Reputation, branding, authenticity. That's literally what they sell to clients. Tell your brand's authentic story is probably on their website somewhere. So when it became office knowledge that one of their account managers had been fabricating her personal narrative for nearly a year, it didn't sit well. She wasn't fired. Let me be clear about that, because I know people are going to ask. She was not fired for lying about her relationship status. But what happened was arguably worse in a slow burn kind of way. She got passed over for a promotion she'd been angling for. The promotion went to someone else on her team. I know this because our mutual friend mentioned it in passing. Apparently, the feedback from her boss during her review included a comment about trust and transparency being core values, and a suggestion that she focus on rebuilding internal relationships. Corporate speak for, we don't trust you the same way anymore. She also lost the coworker friendship with the woman who'd been told I was available. That woman apparently told others in the office what had happened, and the story spread. Not maliciously, just the way office stories spread. By mid-January, my ex had become the office cautionary tale, the woman who lied about her boyfriend for a year for career strategy. Nobody was bullying her. Nobody was freezing her out overtly. But the easy camaraderie she'd had? Gone. People were polite but distant. She'd become someone people didn't quite trust in casual conversation. Again, I didn't do any of this. I showed up to one party, said the word friend, knew her coffee order, and left. Everything else was dominoes falling from a lie she'd spent a year constructing. Now, the personal aftermath. This is the part that actually got complicated. About a week after the breakup, my ex started the revisionist history campaign through her mutual friends. The version she was telling was, I cheated on her at the Christmas party by bringing another woman, and when she confronted me about it, I gaslit her and broke up with her. No mention of the friend label. No mention of a year of hiding me. Just, he brought a date to humiliate me and then dump me. 2 mutual friends reached out to me separately that week with concerned messages. One said, hey man, I don't want to get in the middle, but she's saying some pretty heavy stuff. Just want to hear your side. The other was more blunt. Bro, did you actually cheat on her at her work party? I told them both the same thing. The complete truth, start to finish. The friend label. The October dinner. The year of being hidden. The Christmas party. All of it. I didn't embellish. I didn't editorialize. I just laid out the facts. The first friend went quiet for a day, then texted me. That's really different from what she told us. I believe you, but damn. The second friend called me and said, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. She left out some pretty critical chapters of that story. He also mentioned that she'd told the friend group I was obsessed with social media validation, and that's what caused the fights. The irony of the woman who curated her entire life for Instagram calling me obsessed with social media was not lost on him. The friend group didn't dramatically implode. It just quietly reorganized. A few people who were closer to her stayed in her orbit. A few who were closer to me stayed in mine. The ones in the middle made their own calls. One mutual friend, a guy we both hung out with regularly, told me he'd confronted her about the discrepancies in her story. Her response was, you don't understand the pressure women face in corporate environments. He told me, he said, that doesn't explain lying to your friends about what happened. She stopped talking to him after that. Now here's the part one won't be honest about. The real part. The part that isn't funny or satisfying. About 3 weeks after the breakup, I was cleaning my apartment and I found a hoodie of hers in the back of my closet. It was this oversized gray thing she used to wear on Sunday mornings when we'd make breakfast together. She'd stand at the stove in that hoodie making scrambled eggs while I made coffee. Oat milk latte with 1 raw sugar for her, black for me. Every Sunday for nearly 3 years. I sat on my bed holding that hoodie for a while. I'm not ashamed to say that, because here's what nobody tells you about ending a relationship where you were wronged. You could be completely right and still feel like garbage. I didn't miss her decisions. I didn't miss being hidden, but I missed the Sunday mornings. I missed the version of us that existed before she decided I was something to be ashamed of. That version was good, and grieving it is allowed even when the ending was necessary. I texted my friend, my college friend, the one who came to the Christmas party, and told her I was having a rough night. She said, "That's normal. You don't have to be the tough guy right now." And she was right. Okay, last piece. 2 weeks ago, my ex emailed me. Not texted, emailed. Like it was a business communication. She said she was reflecting and wanted me to know that she understood why I was hurt. But, and there's always a but, she said what I did at the party was disproportionate and that I could have handled it privately like an adult. She said bringing another woman was crossing a line and that if I just talked to her about how I felt, they could have worked through it. I sat with that email for a full day before I responded. And here's what I said, because I think it's the most honest thing I've ever written. You had 3 years to work through it. I told you it bothered me. You told me I was being dramatic. I told you I felt hidden. You told me it was strategic. Every time I raised the issue, you made me feel like the problem for having feelings about it. You didn't want to work through anything. You wanted me to accept being invisible. The party wasn't disproportionate. It was the first time in 3 years I treated myself the way you've been treating me, like someone who gets to make choices about how they show up in a room. I'm sorry about the professional fallout. I genuinely am, but I didn't create the lie. I just stopped living inside it. She didn't reply. I didn't expect her to. It's mid-January. I'm sitting at my desk at work eating a sandwich I made this morning because meal prep is cheaper than Chipotle, and I'm trying to rebuild the savings I spent on 3 years of anniversary dinners for someone who wouldn't tag me in a photo. My friend group is smaller, but more solid. The people who stuck around are the ones who had the full picture and chose to stay. I'm good with that. Quality over quantity has never been more real for me. My college friend, the Christmas party date, texted me last week to say that several of my ex's former coworkers had added her on LinkedIn after the party. She thought it was hilarious. I told her she's officially my favorite person. I don't have a dramatic bow to put on this. I didn't win. I lost 3 years with someone who was ashamed of me. I lost $340 on a suit I bought specifically for a party I attended out of spite, and I lost a version of my future that included someone I genuinely thought I'd end up with. But I stopped being invisible, and that's worth more than any of it. The hoodie is still in my closet. I'll deal with it eventually. Right now it's Tuesday, and there's a basketball game on, and my chili is almost done, and that's enough for tonight. Thanks for reading. And if your partner won't acknowledge you publicly, in any context, to any audience, that's not privacy. That's concealment. Know the difference. I wish I'd known it sooner. Peace.